All right. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm really excited this morning to have OnPoint Community Credit Union here. I'm Chylese Austin, the owner and managing broker of Larkin Fur Realty. And we're here in our beautiful courtyard since the weather is so accommodating. And I'm excited to have Meredith and Keeli. And if you could just tell the audience a little bit about what each of you do at OnPoint, that would be great. And we'll get going.
First of all, well, thank you so much for having us here today, Chylese. Yes, I'm Meredith. I am the branch manager at our Hillsdale location. And I oversee a team of amazing people that are there for your banking needs. They do, just your general teller needs, your lending needs, things like that. But they also just kind of provide that warm atmosphere to feel welcome, feel like you're coming home, to be able to talk comfortably about sometimes uncomfortable topics. With finance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm Keeli. I'm the mortgage loan officer at the Hillsdale branch. So I get to be part of that really lovely team. And I've been there it'll be 10 years this year. Yeah,
10 years.
It's been a long time that I've been
Wow.
there. So, and my role is just to help people with mortgages, just help navigate that whole purchasing, refinancing, just helping people with what they need for mortgages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, I became a member of OnPoint. I've lived in this neighborhood for more than a dozen years now. And my husband and I first went to OnPoint in 2012, just a few months after we moved to the neighborhood in October of 2011, actually. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to buy a car, and we went to OnPoint to apply for a car loan, and the terms were excellent. And at that time, which was in the depths of the recession, the terms were excellent. Zero down, and something like 3% or
screaming deals.
A screaming deal. And I think, unlike a lot of credit unions, you guys don't restrict your membership to employees of this company naval, officers or whatever.
Exactly.
So anyone can become a member.
Yeah, and that's kind of started, our history.
I was going to say, how did it start? Yeah.
So, in 1932 is the official start of what
1932.
32. Yeah,
wow,
so coming out of the recession.
Yeah.
Or I guess it's still in it, kind of. And it was a group of 16 school teachers. And they got together, they pooled their money together, and they started Portland Teachers Credit Union. And it just kind of grew from there. And over the years, it's gained traction, we've gained membership. And then in 2005, that's when we changed our charter to a community charter. Because it used to be that kind of, pigeonholed, you had to be part of the education system in some way.
Right.
You could be a student, you could be, a janitor. It was just some weight attached to it.
Got it.
But then the community wanted more. And so we listened to the community, and we opened it up, community charter, changed the name to OnPoint so that it didn't sound still, so pigeonholed. And
sure.
It's just exploded from there. I mean, we're up to 57 branches now.
Unbelievable.
We're over 600,000 members, and all over Oregon. We're in Southwest Washington now. I mean, we just really expanded.
Yeah.
And we just really, we listen to our members. That's our core. The spirit of OnPoint is our members and how they're treated, how they want to be doing their finances. I mean, that's such a big part of your life. So it's just been really amazing to see this company just take off like that and continue to maintain its still, its core that it had. But then still expand with what's needed.
The other part of my relationship with OnPoint that I feel very lucky to have is that you guys are doing ACH now, so I can pay my brokers who are not employees, who are independent contractors, electronically, which they love. They don't have to come in and get a check and go to the bank and and wait 3 days or whatever. It just goes right in, and we just started that at the beginning of the year, and that's been a really great thing. They're all really happy that we put that in, and it doesn't cost the business anything. So anyway, I'm very glad that you have that service.
Yes. Yeah, we stepped into 2025.
Yeah.
We're with the times now. Yeah,
Yes.
we're really trying to focus on bolstering our small businesses and giving them the support and the products that they're asking for, that they need to do business. You're right. Like, it is old-fashioned to get that check. And as much as we love to see you come into the branch,
Yes.
it's not always time, feasible. So yeah, offering that, and then also the nonprofits as well. We're really always have been very supportive of the nonprofit industry, but really kind of taking that and running with it now. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. Yeah. I wanted to, for those people who are watching or listening and wondering, like, I wonder how competitive OnPoint is with their rates and their, because that's usually like the first thing people go to.
It is the first thing they go to.
So if you want to speak to that, and we have noticed an uptick in first-time buyers.
Absolutely.
This year
I agree.
in particular.
Yep.
I'm working with 4 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just closed one, and he was 62, and it was the first time
Oh,
he was buying a
that's
house
fantastic.
independently.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
And he was like a 10-year-old kid. He was so excited.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but I'd
sure.
love to hear from.
So as
from
far
you.
as rates go with OnPoint, and I won't quote anything specific because obviously it changes all the time, right?
Right.
But with OnPoint, first of all, mortgage, I'll speak to in just a second, but our auto rates, just going back to that, extremely low auto rates. So across the board, the rates are going to be really low. But as far as mortgage rates go, our goal is to be on the low end of where rates are at. So really, typically, we're trying to have one of the lowest rates that are out there. We also have really low fees. So with OnPoint, most members don't have to pay a lender fee with OnPoint. And we can kind of work through that, but our lender fee is normally $800, and typically
they're 1% of the loan amount, very typically.
they typically are. So our fees are low to begin with,
Yeah.
and then for most members, a lot of times that gets waived anyway. So
Wow.
so our fees are really low. Rates are really, or closing costs our fees are really low. Interest rates are really low. So that's kind of where we're starting.
I've got clients, and they're trying to decide between, because they have 3% down, and depending on the price of the house, they could have 5, but for sure 3, and being able to cover their own closing costs. And they're like, do we do conventional or do we do
great question.
FHA?
Yeah.
And
So really for any, especially first-time home buyers, I just want to educate them. I mean, really just give them their options. My goal personally is just, thank you. My goal personally is just to educate them and have them walk out of my office knowing more than they did when they came in. So what I'll do is take a look at that 3% down. Depends on credit score. Depends on primarily credit score, I think, is a big one. Payment, cash to close, kind of all of those things. I'll take a look at OnPoint has a 0 down. So we have a program where no money down, no mortgage insurance, which usually there's mortgage insurance if you put less than 20% down.
right?
FHA can be on there forever, depends on the program.
Yeah.
So I'll take a look at that first-time homebuyer program, 3% down, FHA 3.5% down, and really just individually what makes the most sense. And the other thing too, it may depend on the property. There may be a property where you could put 3% down, but maybe you want to put a little bit of money into it, so maybe
Sure.
0 down makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's going to vary. It's just a moving kind of, it depends on the property.
Yeah.
And like for myself, for buyers who have properties they're interested in, I'll just have them send me the address, and I'll send them different options. So they can really take a look at it and say, okay, here's what my payment's going to look like.
Yeah.
Here's how much money I need. What makes the most sense? What feels the best?
Yeah. And I mean, for people that are, a lot of first-time buyers will end up going with a condo because the entry-level price point is even with the HOAs, it still sometimes makes more sense.
Yeah.
And if you've never owned a home before or had to pay for all your own utilities,
Right.
It's like, it's $500 a month for HOAs, but you set up water and sewer and electricity and gas, and it's $500. It's trash. I mean, all of that. I just did it for a client, and he was like, wow, that really added up. And so he's really trying to put his budget into a house instead of a condo. And that means he might have to have more of a commute, to get a little further away from the core. But those are the conversations you have, once they have a handle on how mortgages work and what kinds of costs they're going to have. I know what I get as the most, I don't know, surprise from first-time buyers. Typically, it's the closing costs. They don't understand that besides having whatever down payment they've saved, that there's going to be closing costs, taxes, insurance, and appraisal fees, all those things, and they can be $10,000. So I would love to hear from your perspective too, like what you hear from members as being like, I don't know, the most unexpected part of buying a house. Or
I feel like that is a big part of it, just because you're right. People think I have $20,000 that I can put down, not realizing that they really probably need 30. Right.
Yep.
And I will say that 10,000. The bigger part of that is the property taxes and homeowners insurance. It's really more that than closing costs.
Yes.
So our costs are pretty low, like I said. Well, I should say relatively low. Maybe preface that. But there's that. Reasonably, yes, exactly. And then the monthly payment. And that's really it. So when again, I can only speak for myself.
Right.
So when I have people come in, my goal is let's find a payment that's comfortable for you, and that's going to help us determine what that purchase price is, and then what that cash to close figure looks like. So the goal is to find the payment that's comfortable, the money that you're paying out comfortable, and a house that you love. That's it. We want to find those three things. And I tell people this all the time. I could qualify you for a much higher monthly payment, but you're the one making the payments. So let's figure out what's comfortable for you, and then we're going to gear it towards that. So
I try not to venture too far into those waters with payments and comfort levels, and because I really want them to utilize whoever the lender is. And I will say that the challenge with some credit unions and some big banks is that you've got a loan officer who's maybe in charge of 50 loans at a time, and they don't have that ability to connect with that person. Or some of the online lenders, there's one person's name on the pre-approval, but that's not who they're going to talk to when they call and have questions. So we have similar challenges in real estate when you are somebody's name is representing the buyer, and maybe you have one conversation with them because they've written the offer, and then it's handed off. And then you have people who are working with the buyer that the buyer doesn't know, and if the team doesn't communicate well, you end up with a bad game of telephone. And the same thing can happen. And but I do try to make them. I don't want to be the resource for
that's what
the
we're
money.
there for. And I'll say with OnPoint too, because we are that part of the community. So our goal is to be there for that person. So yes, I've got people that I'm talking to, but if you need something and you need a pre-approval letter, or you need something, or just another conversation, I'm here. That's what I'm for. We also keep the servicing for all of our mortgages. We don't ever sell that. So when somebody does have a mortgage with OnPoint, they will always pay OnPoint. We don't ever have them change that. So if you have questions, I'm always like, I'm still your person. So if you just want to ask questions about your escrow account, come to me first. I'll get you to the right person. So and I think all of our loan officers, all of our mortgage loan officers work the same way that I do at OnPoint, which is very small. It feels like a small company.
Right. And is there typically one loan officer at each location?
There is. So
you have 50 some odd.
We do. We do.
Loan
Plus
officers.
some additionals. We have some that work
that's
remotely
great.
as well. So and that's part of, again, that community where OnPoint, the higher ups, wanted to make sure that if you need a mortgage, you can just go to your local branch and somebody's going to be sitting right there. And so, so it's been a lovely place to be, I have to say. I work for a big bank, and it's so nice to feel so welcomed by everybody.
Well, like I said, from the customer side, I like going to the bank.
Right.
You know,
That's what it should be like.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of like going to your favorite coffee shop, you know, and, you know, they know how hot you like your latte. And,
Yeah.
Yes.
you know, they ask you how that presentation went, like the week before, if
Yeah.
your daughter recovered from the flu yet,
Yeah.
or, you know, that kind of thing. And so what would you like people to know more? Are there any misconceptions people have about OnPoint? Do people think that there's a fee when you join?
Yeah, I think that's one of the main things. People are so used to being charged fees from their banks. It's just, they just think that that's just part of the process.
Yeah.
And they're so surprised when they come in. They're like, wait, I don't have to pay a fee to join. I don't have to pay a fee to, have a credit card. I don't have to pay a fee to have a checking account. I don't have a minimum balance. Like, there's so many things that are just aha moments to them.
yeah.
And it's so fun to, as an employee, to be like, here's our fee list. It's getting shorter. It's on one page, and
Yeah.
these are all things that you probably won't even ever encounter, just kind of the
Right.
random things.
Yeah.
So we really try to work with what our members' needs are and try and eliminate those fees as much as possible, because it's your money. You should be able to use it how you want to, not
Right.
get charged for it. So.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the nonprofits. You mentioned earlier that you guys do work with nonprofits a little bit to
Yes.
support them.
Yeah, so that's kind of been, again, a part of our soul of OnPoint is to build up the community, and nonprofits are so important to that piece of it. One thing that we do that I love is anytime we open a branch, so keep in mind 57 branches,
Yeah.
we then invest in a nonprofit that's near that branch.
Wow.
And so that's kind of our way to give back to the community, saying, hey, thanks for letting us join you here. Let's give back to all of you. So,
Who gets to have that job?
I know, right?
Being a,
Right.
bring out the check.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah. And just awareness too.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, especially now that so much federal funding has
Oh, gosh.
or is disappearing.
Yeah.
It makes the need for the community to come together that much more
Yeah.
palpable, I guess,
Yeah.
and important.
Yeah, and
So-
OnPoint's heard that need, and we've really stepped up. That's not only helping the nonprofits with their financial side, and we've got some great high interest savings accounts, so that the
Yeah.
money that the nonprofits do get continues to grow, which is so they need every penny that they can get. So if we can
Yeah.
help, we'll do it. But we also, we provide lots of grants as well, and
Okay.
community giving. We've got an amazing program within OnPoint where every employee gets 16 hours annually to volunteer. And that's for just general volunteering. And then kind of going back to the unlimited educational volunteering, like financial educational volunteering. So really encouraging, we've got this, we've got over 1,000 employees. Let's get them out into the community. Let's get them helping, So you are doing more than just taking in that, check deposit. You're going out and you're actually doing good with the company. You're learning about, what these other nonprofits are doing and how they're helping people as well. So really, it's a really amazing drive that OnPoint has, and just a real strong presence that we have within that nonprofit group.
Wow, well, that's so inspiring.
Yeah.
No, I just think it's important, and it does connect you with your community a lot more, and especially in real estate agents are not, typically ranked as highly as, doctors and many professions. So it's nice to be able to connect our services with, giving back, if you will. And, I believe in home ownership. I think that, especially as we've seen rents just continue to climb, how important it is to, have your own four walls and, be master of your own domain it's a long-term investment.
Yeah,
and there's been an incredible amount of appreciation just in my 20 years in
Yes.
real estate. But I do tell the clients that you can't count on that.
Yeah.
Right.
And the most important thing is for you to feel like your payment is not going to affect your ability to take care of your house,
Yeah,
and
right.
to set aside money for things like a new roof or new appliances and all those things, and just taking care of it, because I can't tell you how many times I'm, contacted to sell a house, and, there's $10,000 worth of just cleanup to do and paint. Luckily, that goes a long way to improving the aesthetics.
Right.
But, if you haven't been taking care of the systems of your home, that's going to come up, in a home inspection.
Yep.
And so I try to, have everybody go into that with, eyes open. And, there's so many different paths to saving that involve real estate. For people that buy a starter home, live there for a couple of years, maybe make some improvements, and then they have equity. They get an appraisal. They can take a loan, a HELOC out, or do a refinance and have new money to put down on a new house and turn that into a rental, or sell it and not have to pay capital gains, right?
Yeah.
So, and I know a little bit of that, but I do try to steer the clients to the professionals, because it's not the right thing for everybody to do that.
Right. Yeah.
I've been asked a couple times, like, how come you don't have a whole bunch of rental properties? And I don't want to manage rental properties.
Yeah, it's very...
Nope, I don't. Especially when I made a decision to own my own real estate company.
Yeah. That's enough work.
That's enough of a challenge.
Yeah.
But you have to be open-minded and listen to what people's goals are, and also when they're unrealistic, just say here's why I don't think you're going to be able to do that, or why that's not realistic, or that's not something you can safely count on happening.
Right.
Like your house being worth 20% more in a year or two. Yeah, it's probably not.
Or
gonna
interest
happen.
rates dropping.
Or interest rates
cannot
going
count
back
on
to
that.
3.
We hope they will, but we
Crystal
cannot
ball
count on
is just not,
No,
not giving us
yeah.
anything.
I mean, I think that's why real estate picked up so much, at least the first 1.5 quarters, I would say, through into maybe the middle of April or the end of April. It was very busy. We didn't have a lot of inventory, but I saw a lot of people just finally saying, okay, interest rates are what they are.
Right.
I've been treading water for 2 years.
Yeah.
Not wanting to live here anymore, or having to deal with, some other mitigating circumstance that's making it challenging for me to stay put.
And the thing with rates, yes, I think that's true, that people have gotten used to where the rates are, and they have gone down a little bit too.
Yes,
so that
they
was
have.
helpful.
They start with a 6 now.
They
which
do
is
start
wonderful.
with a 6 now. That's fantastic.
Exciting.
But I also think too, rates are. We can always refinance later. So if it's the right time and it's the right place and it's comfortable, it's make a move.
Yeah.
Because then when rates drop, I have a list of people, and I'll be calling all of those people saying, hey, looks like rates have gone down enough. Do you want to take a look at this?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they can watch too. But yeah, so it's just, we were saying you're not married to the interest rate.
Yes,
So
right.
you want to, find the house you love, make sure it's comfortable.
Yeah.
The rate can come later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marry the house, date the rate.
Yeah.
That's
Something
it.
like that.
Something,
right?
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, anything else that you want people to know about OnPoint, or what what kinds of, I know you're doing more education on, I saw something in email that was maybe like a financial advisor, or planning for retirement or saving for retirement.
We have those. We also have some first-time buyer education workshops.
Yes.
So we have financial literacy workshops.
Yeah.
So where people, employees will stay at the branch after hours,
Yeah.
and people can come
nice.
in and sign up for these classes.
Oh, that's
so our goal
great.
is to really educate people from when they're kids all the way up to
Past
retirement,
retirement.
right?
Yes.
I mean, we're just there. So
Yeah.
the one thing we didn't talk about, just home equity loans. I know we kind of briefly, right? So
Right.
OnPoint
HELOC or
HELOC,
home equity
yeah.
line of credit.
So home equity loans. So just
Yes.
really quickly, so
Yeah.
OnPoint, obviously we do offer home
Yes.
equity lines of credit. So it's a great way to tap into that equity.
Yes.
People use them for home improvements, maybe do some of those repairs,
Yeah.
so that kind of
Yeah.
thing. I was also saying I've had lots of people use them for education. So kids are going to college. That's a great way to finance that. And then we also do home equity loans for second homes and non-owner occupied properties
like
too, so
rental
rental
properties.
properties,
Oh,
which those
that's
are hard to
great.
find.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll just plug.
And 100% financing too. Don't forget.
Oh, that's
We are
right,
Really, one of the
100%.
only lenders that are doing over 80% HELOCs.
For home equity loans.
So,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
really good to know. I actually have an account now with the Vancouver OnPoint.
Oh, great.
Just because we recently opened an office in
Yeah.
downtown
Oh, nice.
Vancouver.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And we had to name it something different because lark and fur is the meadowlark is the state bird of Oregon.
Oh.
And the Douglas fir is our state tree,
Oh, I
which
love
is how
that.
I came up with the name
That's
lark and
wonderful.
fur.
Yeah.
So, you know, you expand to Washington and you're like, lark and fir?
Right.
So it's hemlock and finch up there.
Oh, I like
so
this
funny.
little
That's so
theme going.
Yeah, I was surprised that
Wow.
nobody else had thought of it.
Wow.
But yeah, and it sounds really local and
Mm-hmm.
and connected to the place that that we're doing business. So I'm excited to expand the company and to continue to be able to work with OnPoint. And the people at the branch up there were lovely as well. And it's nice too that when you have accounts in both states, you can go to any branch and
yeah.
and do business with that account,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
will.
Everyone wants to see you.
Yes.
We'll welcome you in.
So that's also a really nice part of being a member. So
Yeah.
Anyway, well, thank you both so
Oh,
much
thank
for
you, Chylese,
coming
for
in
having
us.
and talking about your role in the community, and for those of us that have never done business with a credit union, or the people that are watching this, I think it was really informative for them to see all the different ways that you can help them with saving money or borrowing money for everything from a car to a loan against your property equity. And and it's from me personally and professionally, it's been a really great experience. So
Right.
so I'm glad to share you with the community
thank
at
you.
large. And yeah, so for anyone who is interested, OnPoint does have 57 locations
Yep.
now, and we're in Raleigh Hills, and you guys both work at the Hillsdale location, but there are locations in all the suburbs,
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
much,
so we're
Tigard, Tualatin,
Portland,
Beaverton,
Yeah.
Metro, we're
Hillsborough.
down in Eugene,
And you're in
we're in
Eugene.
Bend area, and then as you mentioned, in Washington, so we're Southwest Vancouver area as well. So.
Okay.
And growing. We're always scoping out new
And
areas.
growing. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again. And
Thank you.
hopefully we will have some reason to recap in a few months with whatever changes the economic
Landscape.
Who knows?
forces bring.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you again.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
Okay.
you.